Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this In-the-Hoop Penguin Stuffie. Super easy design, and what I really love about this design is it only requires 3 different colors, gold or yellow, white, and black fabric, and it is all done in one 8-inch by 12-inch hoop. So it's actually a pretty quick sew. So stay tuned and I will show you how to do this. Let's talk fabric real quick. All 3 pieces that I have here are from Joann's Fabric, and it's part of their So Lush fleece fabric line. To begin, we will need 2 pieces of black So Lush fabric for the body. We will need white for the belly and 2 yellow ones for the feet. Along with the fabric choices, today in this demonstration, I am going to use this yellow for the feet, this white, and I should say this yellow for the feet and the beak, the white for the belly, and then of course using the black to tie it all together to actually construct the bear. The first color I'm going to put in my machine is this yellow because it's going to do the placement stitch and also the tack down stitch for the feet. Let's go over to the machine. When you head over to your machine, make sure you upload the correct file. There is only one file for this design. So here it is, and I'm going to hit Embroidery. And then you also need your 8 by 12-inch hoop or larger and tearaway stabilizer in it. I am going to run the first stitch, which is the placement stitch. It completed the placement stitch. So now I'm going to grab one of my pieces for the feet, and I'm going to have it right side facing up with extra fabric up here, and I'm going to place it over the stitches. So I'm just going to lay it about right there. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to make sure that it covers it completely. It looks good. If you use my measurements in the directions that you receive when you purchase this product, I give you ample space around the design to ensure that it all fits. If you are conserving fabric because you want to save money or you only have a little bit, you can cut and go as you please. However, just know that I want extra fabric up here. So I kind of want this piece of fabric to be touching here for sure, but you don't have to have excess fabric down here. I like to be just cautious, so that's what I do. So I'm going to take this to the machine and I'm going to hold it in place. The tack down stitch is completed for the feet. If you choose to personalize the feet, now is the time to do the stitching. I'm not personalizing this design today, so I'm going to skip that step. Of course, all personalization is not included in the purchase from my store. Grab your second fabric piece for the feet and put it wrong side facing up and cover the stitches, just like so. Take it to the machine and hold it down. It is going to do a bean stitch around it. At the same time, it's going to leave about a 1-inch gap open up here so that we can turn it inside out. Grab an X-Acto knife, and we are going to carefully cut the feet out of the hoop. We first will do that by folding over the extra fabric just like so, and carefully cutting it right here, making sure that we're careful that we don't cut those stitches. And then I'm going to turn it over again And then I'm going to cut around this top by folding over the edges. And then the top. And then back to the side. And we just pull it out just like so. Be careful on this edge. There we go. Okay, so there it is. There is our hoop, and here is the top. We are going to put this hoop to the side because we will need to use this later. We must remove the tearaway stabilizer. And I like to keep the stabilizer inside the design for when I cut around it. That way it's easier for me to see what I am cutting. Take your sharp scissors, and we are going to cut in between these two designs. Have the 3 toes facing up, and right down here is where that 1-inch gap is. We need extra fabric down here. So take your scissors and at a diagonal, snip it just like so on both sides. Then, keeping your scissors straight up and down, I usually like to put it on the table and then move my design when I'm cutting. You are going to cut around the design. Take your time on this step because you want to get pretty close so it's not super bulky, but you definitely do not want to cut those stitches. All right, you don't need, this has a full 1.25 inches. You don't need that much extra space at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is just snip it and give it about a 1/2 inch at the bottom. Then I'm just going to make sure all my corners are pretty clean. And then I'm going to take off this tearaway stabilizer from inside. And then we're going to turn it inside out. If you have a turning tool, now is the time to grab it, as I only give you about 1 inch space at the bottom. I'm just going to use my fingers. I lost my turning tool, still haven't found it. Yep, and poke out all the toes. Use some sort of tool to poke those out. I am using just my Cricut tool. It's not obviously meant for this, but I'm just using the blunt side. Just gonna poke them out. Make sure all the edges are good. And that is what it should look like. I am going to now do the same thing to this foot, and then I'm going to put them to the side. Both of these turned out great. They're both inside out, or they're correct side out now. And so I'm just going to put these to the side because we won't need these for a little bit. And I'm going to grab my hoop, and I have it right side facing up. So here's the body. So the rest of the stitching will happen here. You need to grab one of your black pieces. And you need to have it right side facing up, and you want to place it over the placement stitches, making sure that you have extra fabric down at the bottom for the very last step. So if I fold it over, okay, that looks good. And then I want to see how much, oh, this needs to go up a little bit more because we definitely don't want to be that close to the placement stitch. So about right there should be good. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. And then let me fold this over again, giving myself about a good inch. That is perfect right there. I'm gonna take it to the machine, hold it down while it stitches. And before I forget, I'm actually gonna switch it over to black thread because it's gonna stitch the placement stitch around this body. leave your hoop in the machine and run the next stitch. This stitch will be the placement stitch for the belly, the white part. The placement stitches are done for the white part of the penguin. So grab your white piece and look for the right side. Oh, this is the right side. So this is right side up, and place it over the placement stitches, starting from up here, making sure that you have extra fabric, about an inch or so down here. So I'm just going to take this and slide it up. Okay. And I usually just line it back up right here to this edge right there. And then I'm gonna bend it over. Oh, actually it needs to go up a little bit more, it looks like. Okay, now bend it over. Where is the next? Yeah, so that's about a ½ inch, I would say, up there. And actually I need to bring it down a little bit. There we go. All right, it's ready to go to the machine for the tack down stitch. I was paying so much attention to the bottom and the top that I forgot to look at the side. And as you can see, I got super close to the side there. I still have to snip it. It's still good, but I got close. All right, so it is down here that I want to save some extra fabric. So I'm just going to snip this as a reminder to not cut that. And then I'm going to do it right here as well. And then I'm gonna grab my applique scissors and then I'm gonna cut around this design. And I wanna be as close as possible because it is only a 6mm width. And this fabric is bulky, so it does get really close to that. So I'm gonna cut this out and then we'll get back to it the next step. As you can see, I cut around the design as carefully as possible. And I try to get as close as possible. You will have to take your time on this. I also took a lint roller because this is very messy fabric, so I did that. Now grab some water-soluble stabilizer, and I'm gonna put it on the top, and then I'm gonna tape it down. I'm actually gonna move it down a little bit. My kids, it's summer vacation. And so my kids are at home and they're playing with the dog. They're a little loud, but that's, so I apologize in advance, but they're having a good time. So don't want to make them stop doing that just because I'm recording a video. So I apologize. All right, so I'm going to pull it down like this to make it nice and taut. Pull it down just like that. Daisy's our golden doodle. Our son's having a lot of fun with her right now, playing games. All right, I'm gonna put it in the machine, and it's gonna be using white thread to do a satin stitch around this outline right there. Leave your hoop in the machine. This is what the satin stitch looks like when it's done. But what you need to do now is change your white thread to black thread because we're gonna do the eyes. The eyes have all stitched out nicely, so they do a fill stitch and then they do a satin stitch around the eyes. I'm going to change my thread to that yellow that I used for the feet, and I'm going to run the next stitch, which will be the little beak. We are done with the nose feature right here. So now we are going to do the placement stitch for the toes, and that's going to happen about right here. Remove the water-soluble stabilizer and grab your 2 feet, and we are going to place them. Since they are not personalized, either side works of whether it should be up or down. And I'm really gonna look at this line right here on helping me place them. And I'm also gonna make sure that my feet do not go past this line and this line, or else they would be stitched out. So I think I'm just gonna look at it kind of right there, and I'm gonna bend it over backwards, and that's kind of what it would look like after it's being stitched. I wanna make sure that it is, I wanna make sure that this line goes past the bottom of the design line for sure. So just about right there, looks good. And I'm gonna grab this one. Actually, I might flip it though. I might go like that, and might go like that. And so if I flip it over, it'll look like that. And if I flip it over, it'll look like that. So then I'm going to take it over to my machine and have it run the tack down stitch. So both feet are attached. It first did a stitch here, then it paused, and then I did a stitch starting here to here. And this is what it looks like when I bend it over. Super cute. So like when it's all said and done, this is what the front will look like. So we're gonna keep those inside though. And we're gonna grab our last fabric piece, which is the black piece. And we're gonna have the wrong side facing up. And we're just gonna align it to the bottom of this piece and the top of this piece. Okay. It's gonna start from the top here, work itself down. When you get to the feet, you need to raise that that embroidery foot up. I probably will put it up to 7 or 7.5 just so I can get around that bulk. And then I'll go back around this way. And again, I'll increase the height when I get to here. All right, so I'll take it to the machine and we will sew the last stitch. It is time to remove the design from the hoop. We're all done with the embroidery machine. We'll put that away. And we're gonna turn it around, and we are just gonna take the, we're gonna take the tearaway stabilizer off around the design. Next, find your opening. So my opening is right here. And you can also see the opening because it does not have like that black stitch right here or the previous color stitch. Make sure everything is laying flat, and take your scissors and cut a diagonal like this, so. And then another diagonal like so. And you are not going to cut this stuff, okay? We need this for the final step of closing it. And we're gonna carefully cut around the design. Having that white tearaway stabilizer there to guide your cuts is so important. That way you do not cut too close. I cut around the edges, and of course, the closer you get, the better it will lay when you, like, the edges will be pushed out. But I am also super cautious about not making a mistake and cutting my stitches closed. We also need to remove all of this internal stabilizer. So I'm gonna do that real quick. It is the moment of truth. It is time to turn it inside out and see how the penguin looks. I'm just gonna stick my hand in there and get all the edges nice and pushed. Now my hand is stuck in there. There we go. Nice and gentle out. All right. And so what we're gonna do is turn this inside out. Stuck all the raw edges inside, including the ones from the feet, just like that. And then our next step, which is to stuff it. Super cute. So I have my polyester filling. I'm just gonna take through that hole. I'm just gonna start stuffing the filling in it, and it is that easy. And you get to decide how full do you want it. It is, I like mine super full, and nice and firm, and they're kind of heavy, but it is harder to close it if you do it super full like I do. So I am going to do this off camera because this is something that you do not need to see, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. I stuffed it up to how much I prefer. As you can see, there are some gaps right here. If you cut closer, you will have less of that. So next time I should probably take my time with getting those cut really well. Okay. All right. So now closing this one is a little bit more trickier. It's trickier than my other ones because it has feet. But what I want to look at is this line right here. That's my seam where I really want to use to have as a guide to where I will either sew it shut, or in my case, I'm going to use fabric glue. So I'm just going to like grab I just folded all the raw edges in, and then I grabbed where that line is and aligned it up with the black fabric. And now I'm going to use Wonder Clips to close it just like that. And then I do need to do it again for this side right there. So this one is definitely bulkier than, oh, I just broke that Wonder Clip. This one is definitely bulkier than other designs I have. Okay. All right, I'm gonna keep doing it so that I get all of it. So now I have to match up the white and the black right there in the middle. And then I'm gonna fold this over, making sure that everything is lined up. And then I am gonna go and glue it shut. It is time for the moment of truth. Let's see if I got it all shut. Oh, that's kind of stuck on that one. That must have got some glue on the outside. All right, must have got some glue on the outside of this one too. There we go. There we go. There we go. And there is the penguin with the cute little toes. Super cute. Thanks for watching. This design is free on my Patreon. Check the link below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more creative fun.